We're celebrating superheroes with our Food Lovers Market Marvel Superhero Mug campaign, but we're also celebrating everyday heroes. It's the busy mom, it's the friend that's always there, the teachers that work so hard through the pandemic, and the nurses and the firefighters who literally put their lives on the line. When these everyday heroes take a break, what's in their mug? What refuels them and gives them the power? Is it tea or coffee? Maybe some hot chocolate? I'm talking to these everyday heroes to find out how they get their power. My name's Kate. I'm from Food Lovers Market. I'm the host of Everyday Heroes. And today we're chatting to Natalie from Sporting Chance. Natalie, nice to see you. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Kate. Thank you for having me. And I've got a very nice cuppa.
Natalie, tell us a little bit more about what you do.
So I'm involved with an organization called Sporting Chance. So we have both the coaching services and a foundation. And we've worked a bit with Food Lovers Market with our foundation side, and it's amazing. So basically, Sporting Chance is a sports coaching and development organization. We work in communities to provide essentially a sporting chance to as many children as possible in South Africa. And yeah, it gets me up every morning. It's a great passion and a great honor to be able to be involved in the work I do.
Such an amazing organization. But tell me, what are your strengths as an everyday hero?
Sure. So I'd like to think I'm very adaptable. We can think on our feet. And obviously in the Sporting Chance context, we have to do that very often. We have quite a small team, and we have to wear many hats. So that's, I think, definitely one of my strengths. I also, I think I'm a people's person, try to bring people in together and be able to deal with different cultures and communities. So that's been really great and enjoy it thoroughly.
But every hero has an Achilles heel. So what is your weakness?
I definitely shy away from conflict. I wouldn't say I necessarily sit on the fence, but I definitely try and avoid confrontation and stuff like that. And I think as a leader, that's sometimes, definitely a weakness.
So what is the best advice that you've ever received?
So it actually came from our MD of Sporting Chance, Brad Bing. He's got a philosophy that, and I've heard it many, many times over the years that we've been involved. And it's always, with great organization comes a great discipline, and with great discipline comes a great attitude. And we've kind of applied that through my years at Sporting Chance, and it's really, that really rings true, and something that we try and work with our coaches and all the people that we work with in the communities and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's something that South African certainly needs is structure, and those that mantras kind of work well for me.
So tell me, Natalie, who inspires you, and how do they inspire you, and why?
So this was quite a tricky one. I think that's there's so many things that have come in and out of my time with Sporting Chance. But I think, to be honest, it's just the coaches and kids that we work with from the communities, their passion and their energy. Obviously I have a strong background in sport, and sport's always been a big part of my life from when I was, the first few steps. So, but those kids that we work with, in mostly under-resourced communities, are just so inspiring, and the energy that they have, and they come from really hard backgrounds and hardships in their environment, and they just come and they just play. And that, for example, is just the bigger, that's what gets me up in the morning, and what gets us through some of the admin that we have to do with our work as well. And I think, people often ask, where do the kids come from that are part of your programs? And I was like, sure, getting the kids is the easy part, because the kids really want to play, and the coaches that go with them, that really work to really give to those kids in their communities. So yeah, those are my people that inspire me.
Well, leading on from that, what's been your biggest challenge, and how do you overcome that challenge?
I think obviously we're mostly in the NPO space, and I think, again, like most things, it's a big challenge is always funding. I think where one of the biggest things and hardest things for us is that it doesn't matter how well we deliver on a program. Like our program, the Sporting Chance, I feel like we always professional and deliver really, really well. But at the end of the day, the decisions often get made, without emotion, whether it's a business decision and obviously we deal a lot with, like in the CSI sector, and therefore, that comes from a division of profits made, and there's percentages and stuff like that. So our biggest challenge is that it doesn't matter how well we deliver, we're not necessarily guaranteed of that program going on, longevity. So yeah, that's a constant challenge for us. And I think the biggest thing to overcome it is to obviously look at different avenues, to constantly maintain relationships, to constantly present back to people, or our funders or our donors, to show what difference we're making. And that obviously makes us top of mind. And obviously also, just because we know we're making a difference, but we need to tell people as well. So that's one of the things that keeps us challenged.
Amazing. Can you share with us a defining moment in your life?
So for me, it was probably when I first accepted to be a coach as part of Sporting Chance. I was just finishing school, so in matric, and I was obviously, had basically played sport every waking second. And I signed up to be what we called our Calypso cricket coach. So coming from a very affluent background I went to a great school, Rustenburg here in Cape Town, and I didn't really know a lot about the context of South African society and stuff like that. I'd lived a privileged, upbringing, and I went off and did our Calypso cricket festival, and we suddenly had 500 kids on the beach, and these kids just so excitable at the opportunity to come to the beach, never mind just play cricket. And for me, it just opened my eyes, and it showed me, how fortunate I had been in my life up until that point, and how sport can bring people together. And I guess that is when the bug bit. Can I say that's and I've actually never left Sporting Chance since. And that's
amazing. And your Calypso cricket, it's an amazing initiative. I've been there a couple of times. It's wonderful. But can you tell us, what would you say is your biggest accomplishment in your life?
So I think from a work perspective, the projects that we put together, I think every project, when we actually see it through from the selling the concept through to operationally implementing it, and then to actually see that final product and see those kids and coaches part of it, that gives me a great thrill. And we always really, really chuffed and pleased at the end of it, or to see it in motion, should I say, not necessarily at the end. And then obviously in a personal space, I think motherhood, I'm blessed to have 2 little beings, and they keep me busy. And then, from a sports perspective, I did manage to play hockey at a pretty high level. And I always look back and I'm very grateful for those opportunities.
Okay. Do you have a personal mantra or a motto that you adhere to in your life?
Yes. So it's kind of been be like a postage stamp and stick to something until you get there. And I think I've applied that both in a personal capacity and in a work capacity. You don't always get to your final destination, but as long as you're learning and working hard along the way, then you're on the right track.
The important question is, who's your favorite Marvel's Avenger superhero and why?
So I think, I found this one also quite tricky, because I think there are a few characters that I really enjoy. I think let's just start with this Black Panther. Obviously his African heritage, very strong. I'm a proud African. And I mean, who wouldn't want that 6-pack? Let's be honest. But most of the Avengers are in pretty good nick. Also, obviously, I think in my context, I work there's obviously a lot of males and men in the sports coaching industry and stuff like that, which is awesome. But I also like those women, those Black widows that have the strong, both intellectually and physically over the males. And and then there's one that really sprung to my mind. It's haven't actually made it into the Marvel movies as yet, but her name is Spectrum, and she can change herself into any form of energy. And I think in our current South African load-shedding climate, I'd like to be her. I'd like to have lots of energy, change myself into some lights and stuff.
Tell me, Natalie, last question. What is in your mug?
So Kate, I don't know if you're going to be excited or disappointed, but in my mug, I'm trying to get it there, is actually some rooibos tea. And I actually love rooibos tea. I'm not a big coffee drinker. I don't know how I survive the day, but I love my rooibos tea. It's obviously a proudly South African product, and also it's supposed to be really healthy and lots of good antioxidants.
Natalie, thank you so much for joining us on our Food Lovers Market Marvel Super Mugs interview. We've really enjoyed having you, and thank you for being an everyday hero.
Thanks so much for having me. It's a great honor. Thank you.
Pleasure.